In the heart of the world, there exists a rumor that few dare to utter. It is said that before history was history, there was an archive, a lost collection where time keeps though it should never have been known. They call it the dark archive of time, a place that breathes, observes, and patiently waits for those who insist on discovering it. I am the voice that has heard that echo, and I come to tell it, not to illuminate, but to warn. It all began with an accidental discovery. A solitary researcher found a crack in an ancient library, a minimal opening that seemed to absorb light. Upon crossing it, he was no longer in the present. Before him stood an infinite hallway, formed by shelves that appeared to have no beginning or end. There, the books throbbed as if they had a pulse. That place did not archive only past events, but possible futures, unlived memories, lives that never existed. The researcher understood that each tome was a fragment of excluded time, a fork that reality had discarded. As he took one in his hands, he felt his mind being pulled toward a foreign horizon, as if he could hear thousands of voices narrating broken futures. His name was erased, his face faded, and only his obsession to decipher the forbidden remained. As he advanced through the hallway, he noticed that time did not flow, but rather spun slowly like a clock without hands. Nothing aged. With each page uncovered, he realized that the archive was not a mere repository, but a conscious being fed by the secrets of the universe. And within it hid something deeper, an entrance sealed by keys that no one remembered. Whoever crossed, it could alter history itself, change wars, erase civilizations, rewrite the origin of the world. The dark archive of time continued to pulse in the investigator's mind, even as his identity dissolved within those infinite shelves. Each book seemed to watch him with an invisible eye that judged his choices. He didn't know how long he had been there, because hours did not exist, and seconds broke apart as soon as they were born. Then he found a volume covered in black dust, a tome that seemed to breathe with difficulty as if it held a secret that burned. Upon touching it, he felt a cold that drew him in. The book narrated a future in which humanity discovered time travel, but in doing so, it opened an irreparable rift to dark realities. Entire cities transformed into shadows, and people walked soullessly, repeating memories that were not their own. That future did not happen, but remained alive on the pages as if waiting for an opportunity to escape. The investigator quickly closed it, fearing that the fate contained within sought a crack to become reality. He continued forward and discovered shelves dedicated to events that never occurred but could have destroyed the world. They were silent wars, impossible epidemics, forgotten gods demanding remembrance. There he understood the true nature of the archive. It did not hold the past, but the denied. Everything that time rejected remained there, breathing in the darkness. And the deeper he went, the more he felt that this place desired someone to claim it, to make a decision capable of rewriting it all. At the end of the hallway, a red light pulsed like a wounded heart, marking the path to the sealed door. Though he did not remember his name, he still recalled the reason he once wanted to know the truth, and that echo pushed him to continue. Each step vibrated like a forgotten memory coming back to life. The dark archive of time breathed as if each shelf were an ancient, sickly lung. The researcher advanced, unsure if he was still human or merely a materialized memory. Before him appeared a stone table, and on it, an hourglass that did not fall downward but sideways, as if time sought alternate paths to escape. When he tried to touch it, he heard a voice that came from nowhere visible. It was soft, yet laden with centuries. It spoke his name, one he no longer remembered. He took the hourglass with trembling hands, and the glass turned liquid. Inside floated thousands of scenes, births that never existed, empires that never reigned, tragedies averted by the slightest gesture. Each grain was a complete life waiting to be chosen. The archive showed him that every destiny was interchangeable, that the present was merely an illusion held up by ancient decisions. He felt a deep fear upon realizing that if he opened the door, he would not only change history, but erase the memory of the world, rewriting past and future in a single act. His mind oscillated between curiosity and terror. The silence stretched like a century. Then he saw a shadow darting between the shelves, so fast it seemed like a thought escaping. This shadow carried a book and appeared to have stolen it. The researcher knew he was not alone within the archive. There were other seekers trying to open the forbidden door to rewrite destiny. The shadow stopped and turned slowly, as if listening to his thoughts. It had no face, only a void that absorbed light. In that instant, he understood that perhaps this figure was himself in another time, or the result of having opened the door in some forgotten line. The archive laughed silently, awaiting the outcome. The dark archive of time continued to unfold before the researcher like a wound that would not heal. The shelves vibrated as if they sensed every thought he formed, yet he moved forward with slow steps. The faceless shadow still held that stolen book, a tome that seemed to pulse, illuminated by a dim glow. He felt certain that this volume contained something more than a denied future. It held an alternate destiny that sought to impose itself over all others. He approached, and the shadow retreated with a smooth, almost elegant movement, as if inviting him to pursue it. The hallway stretched beneath his feet, as if time were trying to dissuade him from moving forward, but his will did not falter. He knew that if he did not recover the book, the balance of the archive could shatter, unleashing futures that were never meant to touch reality. The chase continued among volumes that whispered forgotten names. Suddenly, the shadow spoke with a voice that was not sound, but memory. It said that the door must be opened, that time deserved new possibilities, even if that meant erasing the present completely. The researcher hesitated, caught between the instinct to protect the existing line and the deep desire to know the impossible. A question burned in his chest. What if the reality he knew was not the correct one, but merely the least dangerous? The shadow extended the book toward him, inviting him to decide. A heavy silence fell over the archive as the researcher raised his hand. He knew that this moment would define not only his destiny, but that of everything that ever was, is, or could be. The air thickened, dense as compressed centuries. The shelves began to tremble, spilling shimmering dust like broken stars upon them. Today, looking back, we understand that the chrononauts were neither villains nor gods, just travelers trapped between seconds that did not belong to them. Perhaps their fate was the inevitable price for defying time. Perhaps their story is a warning or a promise, depending on who listens to it. But their legacy remains, hidden in forbidden files, distorted fragments, and torn pages. We still hear whispers of clocks beating like hearts and doors opening when they shouldn't. If ever a strange pattern crosses your mind, if you remember something that never happened, if you wake up with the feeling that you lived a different life, it could be a trace of them, an echo of their attempts to return. There would be no way to prove it. Time does not allow witnesses. Sometimes the only thing left is faith in the impossible and the certainty that there are stories that do not die even if the world forgets them. Perhaps one day they will return, or maybe they never left. Maybe you are the proof without knowing it. Perhaps their journey never ended. Perhaps it is just beginning, and you are about to discover it, remember it, or feel it. Time will know when to reveal its truth.